Good morning, social media. I don't really have a title for today's message, but it is a good one. It touches me in a special way, and I hope you guys can go through this little sermon, this little message, this little talk with me and God with open hearts and open minds. But anyway, I'm going to read Deuteronomy 6, verse 5 in the CB for these guys, and then me and you guys will start our message. Morning, fellas. I'm going to read Deuteronomy 6:5 to you guys. And thou shalt love the Lord and thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. God bless, work safe. Go ahead and turn it down before we start here. But get back on my channel here. But that was Deuteronomy 6:5, and that's just a good verse. We should love our God with all of our hearts and with all of our might. Just put all of our love and trust and belief in Him, and just, He's a best friend. Just draw yourself closer to Him, put all your love in Him, and just love Him like no other. But before I start with this message, I'm going to also read James 1:5. We're all over the Bible today, so try to keep up. But James 1:5 says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given. I'm pretty sure I read that before, but I just like to read that, and I just like to read that before I dip over and start reading anything else. It's just, I know I lack wisdom, and I know I need to ask God for help and wisdom and understanding of this Bible. But if you can bounce back now, we're going to, let's see. We better read Exodus first. Let's go to Exodus right real fast. We're going to read Exodus 32, verse 2 and 3. And Aaron said unto them, break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons and your daughters, and bring them unto me. And verse 3 is the special important one right here. But all the people broke off their golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron. Which later on in the Bible, and there's a verse there, but we're not going to hit it. I'm just going to tell you guys we're limited on time. But anyway, just a few pages over, the earrings that they had broke off, Aaron had molded a calf, a golden calf, and all the people that Moses had fled from evil with, from Pharaoh, that Moses had saved with the power of God, that was led out of Egypt with Moses under Pharaoh's power. Moses was guiding them through this wilderness. It's my favorite story in the Bible. You can dip into those, and I'll get over here in a minute, or glance over there in a minute. But anyway, it's just a few verses over from those two. Aaron is the brother to Moses, and we all know Moses. Probably first time Moses brought up in the Bible was a kid and was put in a basket, flowed down the water. Everybody knows that story. If not, challenge you guys to find it and read it. But anyway, Aaron was the brother to Moses, and he used the golden earrings that everybody had brought to him, took out their ears, brought to him, and he created a calf, which is a false god, because they ended up worshiping that calf. They took all their belief and trust out of God and put it in that calf, the golden calf that Aaron had made. But right now we're going to read 1 Samuel 7:3. And Samuel spoke into all the house of Israel, saying, if ye do return unto the Lord with all your hearts, then put away the strange gods among you, and prepare your hearts unto the Lord, and serve Him only, and He will deliver you out of the hand of the Philistines. And what I get by that is, don't worship false gods. There's only one God. Put your hope, trust, faith in God, and He will deliver you. He will deliver you from evil. He will deliver you from all these worldly ways and sins. You have to just put your trust, faith, and love in Him. But I do challenge you guys to find the story of Moses and read it. It's in Exodus. I guess start reading it, chapter 31 in Exodus, and just go all the way through. It's just a great story. It's my favorite. But the Israelites had escaped from Egypt thanks to God, and Moses was called by God to save those people from Pharaoh, help them flee from evil, and he just started leading like 3 million people through the wilderness. Just great. And Moses was, charged by God to say, hey, this is, I'm calling you to do this, with the task of leading them across the Red Sea to freedom. But all these miracles that they had seen that God had done, through Moses and just through God, they had their trust in God, and that's how they got out from Pharaoh and out of Egypt anyway. But it's just a good story. The whole time they were in Egypt, they were led by Pharaoh, and it was just all evil things. It just wasn't what God was calling them to do or what they were doing. They were all worshiping false gods, and it was just terrible. So Moses was called by God to, come in, preach, spread the word of God, convert them 3 million people, and lead them out into the wilderness because they had nowhere to go. Because this big city of Egypt was just, nice, and just Pharaoh was the leader. And anyway, they started complaining even after the miracles. God had parted the Red Sea, and the people that Moses was leading, that he saved from Egypt or Pharaoh, started complaining, just nagging at each little old thing. Because whenever they're in Egypt, they at least had food and water to drink. But God had sent, they called it the manna, which was food for them to eat. But then they started wanting water. So God performed another miracle through Moses. Said, strike the rock. Let me find it here. God told Moses to strike the rock, and water would pour forth, which water would pour out of the rock. This place was called Meribah and Massah, because the people had tested God. He kept showing them miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle. But just like we read a minute ago in Exodus 32:2-3, even after all those miracles, and they witnessed those miracles firsthand, they still decided to worship a false god through Aaron. I'm trying to speak fast here. We're running out of time. Yeah, it says right here, even though they had seen God's power, they hardened their hearts. We have seen what God has done in our lives. We know God's goodness and His power, but we often complain as well. And I noticed that. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, really? Why does it have to be this way? Why does it have to do that? And that's me doubting, or that's me questioning God, and I'm sure you guys do the same. Just here's a good example. I know I have a good place to live, but I circle but here. It's hard to carry the groceries up the flight of stairs. That's just complaining. You have a roof over your head. God gives you the ability to work, to make your own money, to keep that roof over your head, keep your food on the table. All God asks is gratitude. I'm running out of time here, and there's so much I need to hit. But let us not be like the Israelites in the desert and harden our hearts, but be thankful for what we have, for what God has given us, and bless each of us with. But I'm running out of time. There's so much we can hit. I might hit this again tomorrow, guys. It's just such a big, powerful story. God bless you guys. If you're working today, work safe. Just enjoy your day and dig into this Bible and just read the book or read the story of Moses. It's great. It's great. God bless you guys.